Yo, what is going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to take a look at a comment that we got on the website. Once again, that is over at maddendaily.com. We have a forum. We have people that come in there. They ask some questions, and we're able to give them feedback on it, right? And answer, hopefully, the question that they have. This one I thought was actually would be good for me to do a video on. Just because it's pretty unique. You don't see it a ton, and it's going to be how to defend the Singleback the Singleback trips formation out of the run balance playbook. Now, this playbook and this scheme was made popular by Master Gamer. For those of you guys that have been on Madden Daily before, you know he's done tips for us as well. I believe he did his ebook on playbook.gg. Believe so. I could be wrong on that. I did not go look and double check that. So if that is wrong, please just ignore that comment, right? But I believe that's where it is. Now, I do know that there's passing schemes out of this. The running scheme is really good. And to be truthful, in Singleback trips, you can do a lot of the same type of stuff you can out of trips tight end and really have a good passing game to go with it. But the main reason that Matt was in this was the running game. So you have a stretch and you have a dive, and the stretch can be playmaker back to the trip side. Now, the other runs you have are power O, you have the zone weak. Both of those are very suspect runs in my opinion. Could be completely wrong on that, but I don't think I am. You may break one every once in a while. However, sheds tend to happen a lot when running those two formations, those two plays, especially in MUT, right? So the passing scheme does have some good stuff. Like PA Solid Corner has the really good crossing route to the slot receiver. You have a bubble screen, corners double in. You can trigger the diving post. 93 up Y option is basically a 4 verticals. So you have obviously good passing plays you could use. I don't want to go into full detail on how to stop the passing plays and all that stuff, really because I don't want to go into how to set this formation up. In terms of all of those passing plays. It's not something that I've labbed a ton, but I do know that you can use the same concepts in trips tight end that you can in Singleback trips. So let's talk about the run game, right? That's what I want to talk about here in this video. If this is something you guys want me to expand upon, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know it's something you want, and I'll try to do it for you. But for this video, I'm going to talk about stopping the run. And I think that's important because in stopping the run game, you're going to essentially force them to pass from under center, and passing from under center is not ideal by any means. So with this, you kind of have to know what your opponent has, right? So you know they've got the stretch that can go both directions. They have the dive, and they also have, which I think is very important, is this bubble screen. The bubble screen keeps you from being able to base align your offense, or excuse me, your defense. Because if you base align, then you're outnumbered to that side of the field, and a simple 1-yard pass can turn into a crib shot. And it's not something you really want to deal with, right? So the bubble screen forces us to not be able to base align. And truthfully, ideally in a trips set like this, like a trips tight end or anything like that, ideally you want to man align and give yourself even a better numbers advantage. But we're in practice mode. We can't even do that here, so I'm going to show you a different way of doing it. And let's go ahead. We're going to show you the dive first, then I'll show you the stretch, and then we'll be done with it, right? So the dive is going to be the main one. The way we're going to defend this formation is going to be out of the big nickel over G, and you ideally want your big hitter, your best player, to be your free safety. That's who we're going to use it. Now, you can honestly do this out of any play. I like cover 3 sky just because it's the most easy for me to adjust out of, right? So I'm going to come out and cover 3 sky. And the way we're going to set this up is we're going to shift our defensive line towards the tight end and crash our defensive line up. Now, as I mentioned, once again, you don't want to base align. You just want to take your safety and come stand right in front of this defensive tackle. You just want to make sure you're at this linebacker type of depth. That's going to allow you to flow to both directions. So if they're running the dive, you can just run directly in the gap, click off, get a nice little hit stick, right? Assuming you have an enforcer, or just tap A or X if you're on PS4 to get the tackling. Now, that's the dive. You're going to be able to do this every single time, right? You just stand right here. You'll be able to shoot the gap. They're going to get 0 yards running the dive. So if they run the stretch, right? So the stretch can be ran both directions, which is what is very nice about it. Now, theoretically, a smart offensive player is never going to run this stretch to the right. They're outnumbered, right? I mean, you can just see they've got 3 linemen, technically 2 and a tight end, and we've got 2 linemen, a linebacker, a corner, and a safety. So they're already outnumbered to that side. So theoretically, once again, they shouldn't run that direction, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to go ahead and do it, show you what's going to happen. Now, you're just going to play this little contain, right? You're not going to shoot the gap. You're not going to try to, hit them in the backfield. You're just going to make it to where they can't break any runs, right? They're going to be forced to cut back, and that's when they're going to get run into trouble, because they're going to run into you, and ideally, once again, you have a enforcer, right? So we're shifting that direction. We're crashing our defensive line up, and we're playing at this linebacker level directly above the left defensive tackle. So I'm going to go ahead and run that one more time to that side, and then we're going to flip the run. So you'll see once again, boom, there's nowhere for them to go. The stretch to the right's dead, as it should be, right? So now let's go ahead and talk about running it to the left. So we're going to go ahead and do the same exact adjustments. Now here, once again, we're just going to flow, right? Now you'll be able to, if you're playing at linebacker depth, you're going to be able to sprint over and cut over pretty much in between the tackle right here and this receiver. You'll be able to tackle the running back in that area. So once again, we're just going to hike the ball. See, boom, we're going to get out. Now, we actually block shedded, which was nice, but we were also there with our user. So let's go to the instant replay really quick, and I'll show you that, right? So once again, stretch goes to the left. You see right away we actually get a nice little shed right here. If that's a faster player, that could be a tackle right there. You see that the shed of the receiver is right there. You also have this receiver being shedded. And this guy right here is going to shed 99% of the time, because that's going to be your linebacker going up against a receiver. The shed's going to be crazy on this. Now, basically, all you have to do as a user is avoid this pulling guard, right? Because with us crashing up like this, 75, I think that's Tomlinson, he's going to have a clean shot at you. So you just kind of want to swerve away from him, and then the run's going to be dead. Like, that's your whole objective when stopping the stretch to the left, is avoiding that one lineman. Because if that lineman can't tackle you or, get to you, then you're going to have a clean shot at the running back. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do it again, and then we'll go into and briefly talk about the passing plays. So once again, shift our line to that side, crash our D-line up, and then they're going to run the ball. Doesn't matter which direction. As you'll see, we'll be able to blow it up. But once again, boom, avoid him, and they're tackled in the backfield, right? And I don't know who Shepard is. No idea who that guy is. I know he's not very good. I do know that. As a Pats fan, there's not many Jets that are good, besides Jamal Adams right now. So, as you can see, right, the run's dead. Enough trolling Jets fans. But basically, like I said, as long as you with your user avoid 75, the guard, then they're going to have nowhere to go, because they lose that numbers advantage to that side, because with our user on this side, you can see theoretically the guard should tackle him, or should block him, tackle him, receiver, hit receiver, receiver, which means theoretically it should be one-on-one us versus the running back. But just the way that it works, with us crashing up, the guard is going to react towards us, and that's going to allow this shed to come in right here, and then that one extra blocker that they theoretically have, we're just going to hit with the okie doke. We're just going to swerve out of his way, and then they're going to have nowhere to go. So, pretty long-winded way of talking about how to shut down this running game, but I wanted to, make sure I got that for the guys asking about it on the website. But let's go ahead and talk about the pass plays really quick. Like I said, I don't really want to focus too much on it. I just want to talk about a couple things that you have to watch out for. So, when running this set, you have to know that the play 93 up, Y, and out with a motion will bomb your coverage. So, I'll try to show this to you. I don't know who that is. Emmanuel Sanders. So we'll go ahead just so this. So first thing you got to note is you cannot press. You cannot press when running this, because if you do, if they know what they're doing, and it's a big if, they're going to be able to block this running back, motion over Sanders, do something like this, and then hike the ball as he's, setting, and you'll be able to burn him that way. Now, that was not a good example of it. It wasn't what I was really trying to show you, but that is a thing that can happen, right? And if you guys are familiar with the TNC boys that play, Fancy and them, this is a concept they use a lot out of normal trips tight end. So just to be safe and not worry about it, just avoid pressing, because that way they won't have the ability to do that. Now, that's pretty much that play. Now, the other play that you have to worry about is going to be PA solid corner. And this is just something that you gotta see, right? So cover 3. The route they're going to most likely try to hit is going to be this B receiver, and then they would do something that looks like this, right? Because the B receiver is going to get open. This hitch will also get open. So the way that I like to play this is I will just guard the hitch route, or excuse me, I'll guard the crosser. So I would put this linebacker right here into a deep blue, and then that means that I am now responsible for guarding this guy as he crosses over. And this will actually be the same if they're running the corner play and they're motioning him over to create a diving post, because that's going to be my responsibility, is just to guard this short middle of the field anyway, right? So just to go ahead and show you how this will work, I'm just going to click off of him. But I'll show you the route you're actually looking to guard at least. You see, that's going to be the route that they're trying to throw. So as long as you guard that, you should be good. The other options that they're going to have is they're going to have to dink and dunk you, right? They're going to have to throw the hitches. They're going to have to throw the baby outs. Those are things you're going to give them, right? Because they're not going to be able to run the ball. Their main, deep down the field passing setups are not going to be there. So if they want to throw a hitch and pick up 2 to 3 yards, or if they want to throw a baby out route and pick up 2 to 3 yards, and they're going to be content doing that over and over and over again, because keep in mind, there's not a ton of stuff in this offensive playbook to really work with. You basically have this and jumbo, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a way that this is how I would personally defend this, right? Because jumbo obviously is a completely different set. Doubles flex, doubles, wide trips, like all these are single back sets. And passing wise, theoretically they might be able to audible up to this tray offset. Then they would have dagger, they would have tight end in. The motion halfback screens could be tough. I don't know. I haven't faced them. But overall, that's pretty much what they're going to have to work with in terms of passing, right? So I just wanted you guys to be aware of what options they have passing in terms of that trip set, while also just being able to completely dead their running game. So hopefully that helps. If you guys want me to go a little bit more in detail on this offensive scheme, like the video, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys want, and of course, I'll try to make it happen for you. So hopefully you guys have a good night, and I will catch you in the next couple days.